Now the poor Russian, and we say poor Russian, he may be a beast and so forth, a rapist and everything else, all that's true. But if we take the Russian out of Russia, out of Holy Moscow, out of Matushka Rus, out of Rodina, and you bring that Russian into Western civilization, assimilate him in Western civilization, not of course in the Shigaria, in Hamburg, but I mean real civilization. This Russian, as we know from Russian immigrants into Western Europe and the United States, this Russian is just like the rest of us, essentially, most of the time. But he becomes a productive worker, very skilled, moral, as we are moral. But you take his relative back in Russia, in Great Russia, and what have you got? You have a lazy, drunken, superstitious, immoral beast. That's a typical Russian. The Russian hates technological progress. The Russian hates that sort of thing. There are few Russians that can produce. Well, they have a military dictatorship, so they take all the productive Russians and they put them in the military sector. And all the dumb Russians who can't behave, who can't do anything, they put them in the civilian economy. And they make the civilian economy work by using slave labor from Turks and others, or by slaving and looting Eastern Europe. We in the West have actually twice to three times the productivity per person of the Russians. Because we can assimilate and enjoy assimilating technological progress. We generate it and assimilate it. Russians can produce scientists, but they can't make their civilian economy work. Because the scientists cannot get the idea assimilated and accepted by the public.
Russia's imperial expansion has always been based on the model of the conquests of Genghis Khan. Russia conquers by brutal military force, or by inducing frightened nations to submit to its tyranny by threat of military mass killing, rape, and destruction.
Over these 400 years since Ivan the Terrible, Moscow's empire has always been, as Bolshevik leader Vladimir Lenin described it, a captive house of nations in which Ukrainians, Turks, and enslaved Eastern Europeans are looted and oppressed under the boot of Moscow's police state rule. Soviet culture is a very backward one. Most of us have neighbors who have ancestors who immigrated from Russia into the United States. Those neighbors are like the rest of us. They are part of our culture and think and act as any normal member of Western civilization does. But here in Moscow, the typical Soviet official, manager, or factory operative is lazy, drunken, and superstitious. But while Moscow's war machine prepares to attack, Soviet agriculture and Soviet civilian industry depend upon the dropouts of Soviet society, the lazy, drunken, superstitious ones, like characters out of some Dostoevsky novel. Because the Muscovites are not only naturally anti-Semitic, but are racists in all directions, many of the captive nationalities inside the Soviet Empire live under conditions as bad as in the poorest third world nations.
I will tell you something about Moscow. Right now, Moscow is in an all-out military mobilization. It is preparing for offensive wars of world conquest, and is preparing its weapons for the possibility of an all-out surprise attack on the United States sometime during the 1990s. But in every Soviet bureaucrat, there is a sly peasant who cheats and lies by instinct, but who never takes risks. If we are strong, he will not attack. He will wait, dreaming wicked dreams about the future, while he lies and cheats as usual. Never underestimate Moscow. It is a more dangerous enemy than Adolf Hitler was. But Moscow is culturally inferior and will always be economically inferior, on condition that we return to the policies of investing in scientific and technological progress as we used to until about 20 years ago.